Peace. This is Swins and Nine the Sage. This has been a Nine Ether on Facebook production. But please also follow Nine Ether on Facebook, like our page and share. But also subscribe to Nine Ether on YouTube. And you will be able to find more videos there, especially as we proceed along. Today's introduction is about the Dragon Slayer, right? And so what is the Dragon Slayer? What is that mythos? What is that ethos about? It is about mastering your own Kundalini fire. Oh, well, Nine, what are you talking about? Dragons and Kundalini aren't the same thing. Yes, no, they absolutely are. The Dragon Lava Dough, La, right? And there are so many play on the words La that will also definitely relate to your dragon inside of you. And it is coiled around your spine between your sacral and your root chakra. Okay? So, yeah. Definitely Kundalini is the fire snake. She is the dark chaos inside of you. And so this is the dragon we all fear. This is the danger, right? So many times we hear about dragon stories, the Dragon Slayer story. And we root for this Dragon Slayer. We root for this man that's supposed to kill this great beast, this magical beast that we associate with riches, knowledge, power, enlightenment. We all do. Worldwide, right? Culture exchange. This is not a Eastern, Western phenomenon. This is not a British phenomenon, right? And so even in the tribal, aboriginal, Western cultures, i.e. mine, we don't have dragons, we have turtles. But we have snapping turtles with great claws and great powers and great knowledge, great wisdom and great age, right? So this is an eternal mythos inside of each and every one of us. And so everyone will know, Kundalini is supposed to be magical and beautiful. It is. But it is also a destructive force. That is why it is represented by such a dangerous entity, a smart entity. But what I want to talk to you about today is the juxtaposition of her fire and her waters. Because dragons are always associated with the fire, the burning. Okay? But then they're also known as water serpents. Sea creatures in so many cultures, right? And represented by fish and turtles. So where's the fire? Where's the water? It's an elemental energy, entity that each one of you possess. It is our job here at Nine Ether to spark your ether and your flame to bring the Kundalini out of you. And so today I want to teach each and every one of you to be your own Dragon Slayer. Right? This is the goal. Today we're going to be Siegfried. And we're going to slay that dragon. So here, our first thing is the journey of the hero. The hero or the Heru. The one who is outside of the norm. The one who is already not following the crowd. But when danger comes and all hell breaks loose, it is the hero, the Heru, that steps forth. Or is called forth. Like your Beowulf. Like, oh, nah, you getting into that Norse shit. Yes, I am. Because that is how one walks the left-hand path and activates Kundalini, is by engaging all mythos. You cannot say to me, well, I'm a pagan. I'm a druid. I'm a Wiccan. I deal only in tribal aboriginal. I'm Hindu. Or I'm only Rig Veda Hindu. I don't get into Mahabharata. You see what I'm saying? So we've got to break that. I only deal in the Egyptian. Well, I only deal in the Tamaray. Well, I only deal in the Commission. That's all the same shit. And you guys are rejecting parts of yourselves, your sisters. And yes, men, I'm referring to some of your sisters when it comes to internal gnosis. Because internal gnosis is androgynous. Okay? So, today, ladies too, you're your own Hebrew, and we are going to be dragon slayers. Now, what prompts the slayer into his action? Excuse me. It is the maiden. It is the virgin. It is the most precious. It is the one full of vital fluids, right? The one able to produce progeny. Okay. And so she is the gold. Also, the gold. There's the gold and the gold, right? And so we're always taught that dragons are rich, physically, in like some physical construct, money type rich. But what are we saying here? Because these are all parables, right? So what we're saying is that the dragon is the epitome. It has riches earthly, it has riches spiritually, it has riches mentally. Okay, and so it is the goal. It is what we must conquer. And so you've got to understand that we're outside of our aboriginal tribal gnosis when we start talking about conquering. We're into Eastern culture. We're into so-called European culture when we start in these terms. But I think that the stories, because of conquerors, because of conquering, have spread these stories of the Eastern dragons and the medieval dragons and the Norse dragons the most. Right? And I think that we can all agree on that as adults here dealing in academia and gnosis. Okay? And so the next step or the catalyst for the hero is the gold and the gold, the maiden and the whatever wealth shall be received, fame that shall be received from the slaying of. But these are parables. So what are we saying? You know that there's a spiritual component to everything physical, right? Okay. So with that being said, those goals and that gold are simply enlightenment. It is simply the knowledge of self. It is the control of self, full confidence of self, and the abandonment of fear and judgment, which allows our magic to rise, which allows our Kundalini to roll out of control and burn the illusionary of reality away, right? And so that's how you get a water deity or entity dealing in fire, because the fire is suggestive, right? It's subliminal. The fire is inside of you and burns the illusion of your everyday reality away like Shiva with third eye. That is the destroyer of the world. It's not a destruction of a physical world. It's not a physical burning. It is the evaporation, the heat, the fire, the passion that allows one to see fully, clearly, and within confidence, with no fear or judgment, right? I know a lot of you are missing me, and I'm losing some of you, but some of you are burning with passion and rage right now, and that is your Apep. That is your Yamata, okay? That is your dragon. That is your serpent, right? But it is also the control of the typhoon, your Set, your primordial enemy of the light. So let's get into that. Let's deal with the primordial enemy of the light, your dragon, your Apep, right? The dragon is always seen as the enemy, even though it resides inside of you. Why? Oh, well, Ra is the light, so that's the sun, and so we're all supposed to worship, and that's the epitome. Okay, well, what if I told you that is incorrect, and that Ra and the light is your Aldebroth demiurge? And so when you see Ra represented by the cat, the vicious one, because cats are vicious as fuck, right? And it cuts the head off of the dragon or the Apep. You, in your mind, instilled by the priest, well, that's the hero because it cut the head off. Oh, well, Apep is the chaos. Ra is the order. So many of you wish to rage against this machine, yet you identify with Ra. Ra is the machine. He is the demiurge. He is the order. He is the light. Right? And so again, I've said this before, that Apep or the dragon or Tiamat is cast as the enemy, the dark one, the chaotic one, the one who refuses order, the Lilith, the great mother, the primordial one, the great blackness, the encompassing, the nine. That's why you'll see the dragon so often represented by nine, which Oya is the mother of nine. Then you have your nine dragon cloak. Do you see what I'm saying? And so, yeah, please get into the understanding of the number 9 when it comes into the chaos. But that is totally its own video, and I won't take you there today. Okay. With that being said, what is the next step in the Dragon Slayer mythos? Right? Where do we go next? Where do we go in our journey? And so there's the hostage trapped and the threat of being consumed. This is what prompts our Heru to leave the comforts, right? The matrix, and venture out towards the Zion. And I hate that name, but that is the agreed upon consciousness name outside for a meeting or gathering place outside of the matrix consciousness, right? The outside of the matrix illusionary construct, the Zion, the meeting place. And so how do we get there? It is a hero feeling the need to leave the comforts and confines to seek knowledge, riches, or save the maiden. The maiden is the vessel, the water. The dragon is also the typhonian, the typhoon, right? The energy of hydration, control over fluid, always represented as a storm god, okay? Always. Whether it be perceived as good or bad, okay? And so then the hero or the Heru must then now approach the dragon who holds the magic, who holds the gnosis, which holds the virgin, the fluids, and this is a controller and manipulator of fluids. Only then, when we conquer or lose all fear and confront these things inside of ourselves, do we conquer the dragon. And that is the slaying of the dragon. Right? But the threat that prompted us to go seek was the eating of the maiden, the ingestion of her, the bringing forth of the fluids of her inside of the dragon, which is also you. So you're the hero, the Heru. You're also the dragon. Your goal is to save the maiden before she is ingested by the dragon in order to receive the riches, knowledge, power of the dragon, as well as she becoming your mate, or thusly the sexual object. The marriage prospect becomes the sexual object, right? Because we're dealing in medieval type mythologies, which they cannot discuss the sexual aspect as openly as one might today. So now that we've conquered the dragon, what is the next step? The next step in any ethos or mythos is to now separate the dragon, split the dragon, right? Cut it open in some way and ingest the fluids of her, or ingest her flesh, or ingest her heart, roasting of the heart, like Siegfried. Siegfried bathed in blood and became invincible. Ingested the heart, received prophecy, right? Ingested the flesh and was able to hear the animals. Okay, so we're definitely talking about an enlightenment story. We're definitely talking about a coming to self moment. And it's only when we come to true self that we are now dealing in Kundalini, because Kundalini is not some magical, some fanciful story. It is magic. It is our internal magic. It is our ability to manipulate reality by burning reality away, knowing that it is an illusion that can be manipulated, and then of the gnosis of self that is inside of self, be able to push our magic outward, right? To affect the rest of the illusionary world. Okay, and so that's what Kundalini is. And so after we have ingested the dragon, drank the blood, right? But what did we say earlier? That there was a threat of the maiden and the dragon becoming the same. But we also said that you were the dragon. So these are internal battles we're talking about here. You are all aspects of the story. You are the Heru. You are the maiden. You are the dragon. And so now what is left is the marriage prospect becomes the sexual object. Now you've ingested the blood of her, the dragon. But we're also talking about her, the maiden, the vessel. And so bathe in blood. Ingest the heart. What are we talking about here? We're talking about menstruation in gestation. We are. We're talking about ingesting lunar cycle fluids. And some will hate me for this, but we're talking about kalas. Okay? Please get into your tantric here and understand what I am talking about. And so this is why we have to stay away from fractured systems, because one will tell you this and one will tell you that, and they're sister systems, right? And so you have to combine even the do's and the don'ts. But that's where we get away from fear and judgment. This is where we must let go and abandon fear and judgment. Absolutely so. Okay, and so now we have ingested the woman, her moon fluids. We have ingested the blood, the flesh of the she-dragon, who was known to control fluid, who was known to control wealth, who was known to control gnosis and sit on them, hoard them. Now you have defeated this internal monster, and now you have mated and ingested the woman, and her fluids are yours, or you are the female, and those fluids are now naturally inside of you, churning as an elixir through sexual contact. And this is why we must abandon fear and judgment, because Victoria era stuff has got you blocked there. Okay. You don't even like talking about root chakra and sacral. You don't even like those places in your own body. And so with that being said, you can't have abandoned all fear and judgment, which is the goal of Kundalini in the first place, right? And so now we have enlightenment. Now we have found the sword. Now we have removed the head. Now we have split open the dragon and ingested. And so now what have we found? We have found foresight and prophecy through heart. That's the opening of heart chakra. We have ingested the blood and now can speak and understand the animal. See, now we're in the upper stages. We're now open throat chakra. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. And so now we have opened enlightenment in oneself. Now we are all gnosis. And so that's opening of third eye. Right? And so the journey is projecting out through crown, and dragon slaying is not about projection. It is about opening third eye and receiving crown. So we have walked through this. This has been a very good session with you guys. I'm going to follow up. This is number 2 in a series. Please follow 9 Ether on YouTube. Please like and follow our page on Facebook. Also 9 Ether, N-I-N Ether. There will be links in the description. Don't worry about that. We're going to roll on dragons. We're going to roll on Kundalini. And you are the Heru hero dragon slayer. And the monster is inside of you. And you need the woman, or if you are the woman, you must be ready to receive or be, in order to let these fluids, these energies rise through you with no fear or judgment, thusly letting go. We're going to continue this. Peace, peace, peace. This has been Swins and 9 the Sage, 9 Ether Production, 8-minute universe, all a part of the Simple Sage universe. And if you don't know by now, I love you all.